Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Uncle Ricky Radio Show. Everybody clap their hands. Yay! We're here. So what is this show dedicated to? Well, I'll tell you. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, or your favorite beverage. It could be a beer. It could be a nice glass of wine if you're just coming home on an evening and you want to relax and unwind. And let us help you melt the cares of the day away. This show, I have three shows, okay, on the internet. One is called Eflexonics, E-F-L-E-X-O-N-I-C-S. I've even forgotten how to spell my own. Hang on, let me get a pen and a piece of paper. It's pretty embarrassing when you can't spell your own. Well, EFLEXONICS.com, Eflexonics. Now, what Eflexonics does is it shows people, business owners, small and medium and large companies, but mostly small and medium, how to work with technology and the newest technology that's out there and what's easiest and I always do the free stuff. I love free stuff because as a business owner, you got to have free stuff because you can divert other funds to your business if you get free software and free hardware. Well, not free hardware, but free software. And there's a lot of stuff going on at that show. So check us out, eflexonics.com. And there's a second show called Healthy Tech Talk. And what happens there is I'm a reflexologist and a holistic health practitioner. So I teach the computer user. See, once I teach you how to work with technology and what the hottest trends are and stuff, I teach you how to be relaxing in front of your own computer terminal. So I teach you how to relax in front of your monitor, okay? Because a lot of people, they hang on to computer-based stress, and that is not good. Now, the third show is called Plodcasting. Now, why would I name a show Plodcasting? Because we're plodding along. It's a podcast and plodding along. So we're plodcasting, and this is what we call a spillover show, where I have such great research. I take my Superphone, my Motorola Atrix Superphone, and I have about, 13, 14 newsreaders that I research, and then I email that article to myself. And then I email it the stuff that's related to technology. I email it to Eflexonics, my Eflexonics at Gmail. The stuff that's related to Healthy Tech Talk, I go Healthy Tech Talk at Gmail. The stuff that is a spillover, and I think it's really, really important, and I have a passion for it, but it doesn't fit in either of those two categories, I send it to Uncle Ricky Radio, and this is the show that you're going to be taking a look at. So what I'm going to do is, I've laid this out a little bit differently. I put the headlines there, and then there's a clickable link, and I will take you on a journey on that clickable link so you can enjoy the show. And it opens up in a separate window. So as I'm talking, you can cruise and peruse the page as well. So now let's start out. Kindle Fire is here and it's smoking out the competition. Have you heard about this thing? We're in Canada, and I would imagine we'll get them fairly soon, within a couple of months. Cross my fingers. But are you going to get one of these? You know, on the Leo Laporte show, or some show, somebody said, and they had a good point. They said, look, the iPad costs $499, and he had two children, aged 11 and 13, I believe. And he said, there is no way that I'm going to buy each one of them a $499 device. He said, but I will get them a Kindle apiece, a Kindle Fire. It's $199, so for $400, he could give two kids a competitor to the iPad. Now, let's face it. This Kindle Fire thing, it doesn't have cameras. Big deal. It doesn't have a gyroscope. Big deal. See, what they did is, and I think Amazon's really smart, they took the core of what people do. Okay, what do they do on a tablet? They read magazines. They read books. They can play some games, but not a lot. They play some games like Words with Friends and stuff like that. The major things that people do on a tablet is quite small. And what they did is they built those things into the Kindle Fire. And who needs two cameras, you know? Unless, and here's, okay, so let me put it this way. do you personally have a tablet out there? And how often do you use the camera on your iPad or your Zoom or your Playbook? Playbook. You can pick one up now for $299. $299, yes. Or your, what's the third one? Oh, the Galaxy Tab from Samsung. Now, do not laugh at me because I'm very, very seriously considering buying a Motorola Zoom tablet. Oh, yeah, I hear the chuckles out there. But consider this, boys and girls. The Motorola Zoom comes from the factory with 32 gigs of RAM. All the others, their base model comes with 16. Aha! Double the memory. You say, okay, well, that's all right. So there's one thing. The other thing is the cameras are as good or better than iPad. The cameras in the Galaxy Tab and the Motorola Zoom are the exact same. I believe one is a 2 meg and one is a 5 meg. And on the iPad, they have lower standards on their cameras. So better camera, more storage. Aha! The Motorola Zoom comes with HDMI out. Now, when I go on and do my seminars, it's going to be nice to be able to hook up a tablet to my projectors or my big screen HDMI. None of the other tablets have that. Another thing is, you take a look at your tablets now, your iPad and your Galaxy Tab. Does it have an SD card slot? No. Motorola Zoom does. And the Zoom, yes, the Zoom is heavier. And my wife and I was down to Sears the other day, and I actually got to hold and play with the Zoom and the Galaxy Tab for 10 minutes. And I'll tell you what, that Galaxy Tab, oh, just what a beautifully elegant, sleek, sexy pad that is. It's just gorgeous for a tablet. But when you start comparing dollars for dollars, my money is on the Motorola Zoom. It is a little bit heavier, but you get so much more. You get so much more for the money. And now remember, when the Zoom first came out, it was $800. And everybody in droves said, what are you talking about? $800. The iPad is a screaming success, and it's $499. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? So I think what happened was there was a mass exodus of people that just slapped Motorola in the face and said, you're an idiot. Really, seriously. You bring out a tablet, it's not as refined as the iPad, and that's right. It's not as elegant. It's not as beautiful. It's not as sleek. And you charge $300 more for that particular tablet than you do the king of tablets, talking about the iPad. So they learned their lesson. Now that $800 price tag has gone down to $499. That's where it should have been to begin with. So my money now, of all of them, of all of the tablets, I'm going to go get a Zoom, and I'm going to get it closer to Christmas because it might, I mean, hey, you never know, it might go on sale. So up until now, I have not heard so much buzz about a single device since the iPad. Now read along with me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. On an exciting adventure, Kindle Fire, the tablet that knows your next move. And you know, I think they did a really, really smart thing. Come on. Amazon isn't selling just a tablet. You got to know that. They're selling an infrastructure. Come on, they've got Amazon Prime. And Prime is a big competitor to Netflix. It's not there yet. They don't have as many movies as Netflix, but believe me, they're going to get there in the next couple of months, I have no doubt. And we have a Netflix account. I have no doubt that Amazon will beef up their Prime movie selection. I think it's $80 or $85 a year you pay one lump sum, and you can get their Prime. Now, here's the thing about the Kindle Fire. The Kindle Fire is going to come brand new, okay? So you order a Kindle Fire and they personalize it for you. They put your account there. And don't think, if you're Canadian and it's only sold in the U.S. now, don't think that you can buy it and have things work, because you have to have an American address, an American account, like a credit card account, and all this kind of stuff. Don't be disappointed and buy it from the States yet, Canadians, because you'll find a lot of stuff won't work, and then you'll be really upset. Wait until it comes to Canada. But anyway, when you get this new Fire, it will come with 1 free month of free movies from their Prime. And then they've got, their guarantee to you is this, that as long as you own your Kindle Fire, all of the stuff that you bought from Amazon, they will store in the cloud. I think that's brilliant because then that means you do not have to have a lot of memory in the device itself. Now, here's something that a lot of people are thinking about. The device itself only comes with 8 gigs of memory, and they say, "Oh, come on, I would never buy something with 8 gigs." You got unlimited storage in the cloud. What a brilliant marketing strategy that Amazon has. They're not dummies, those guys. They are smart. So remember now, they're not just selling a tablet. Everybody else is selling a tablet. Amazon is selling a service, an infrastructure, and they're giving you the tablet along with that service and infrastructure. Very, very smart. So I will read the first paragraph or two. For those who just don't have time, this is, you know what, I think this is going to be a lot of fun because for those of you that just don't have time to scrape together this stuff, let me read it for you. Okay, on Wednesday, and that was this past Wednesday, the tablet wars began. Up to then, all talk of a tablet market was misleading. It was essentially an iPad market. Having launched in April 2010 a device for which most people thought there was no definable niche, Apple then proceeded to sell upwards of 30 million of these insanely expensive consumer products on which it was reported making 40% margin. That's what just really burns me about Apple. 40% margin. Come on, are you kidding me? So, why don't you go down to 20% margin, lower your prices, and then a whole bunch of more people can be able to buy your products? But oh no. There were other tablets, most of which, with one notable exception, the Samsung Galaxy Tab, were turkeys. But until Wednesday, nothing had appeared that looked like being able to make a dent in Apple's license to print money. And that's true. The challenger emerged from the expected sources. Amazon on Wednesday, Jeff Bezos, the company's charismatic founder, unveiled the Kindle Fire, its first venture to the tablet market. I will bet you, many, many business owners will snap this tablet up, and I think it's a great deal. I think at $200, you cannot lose. I'm telling you, you cannot lose. So take a look at that. I think you'll find that really interesting, and then it's got other links here as well. And that's from The Guardian. Number 2. It seems someone make a big boo-boo with the BP oil disaster. What do you think of the oil? You know what? That affected so many people financially. It's just, how are these things allowed to happen? Report, oh, my neck. I'm still going through this neck thing badly. Report blames poor management decisions by BP, others for oil spill. Washington, a key federal report, goes further than other investigations. It puts ultimate responsibility on BP for the worst offshore oil spill in U.S. history and the deaths of 11 rig workers, especially regarding the cement seal that was put in place the day before the explosion that triggered the split. I understand that BP holds a high majority, not a high majority, but a big number of pensions for the Brits. I believe I heard somewhere that it was 30%. You don't want to fool around with people's pensions. Other companies also shared some of the blame, according to the report, which noted that Transocean, as owner of the Deepwater Horizon, was responsible for conducting safe operation and for protecting personnel on board. The report said BP, and in some cases its contractors, violated several federal regulations at the time of the incident. They included the failure to take necessary precautions to keep the well under control at times, to perform a cement job that kept the oil and gas downhole, and to maintain the blowout preventer, which is supposed to lock in place to prevent a spill in case of an explosion, in accordance with industry-accepted practice. You know what I should do? I've been thinking about this for a couple of months. I'm going to get a teleprompter. You can make them really easy with a piece of glass and an upside-down monitor. I'm going to get dressed up in suit and tie and get my lavalier microphone here, and then I'll just read you the stuff and charge a gobs of money. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, so take a look at that article. Next article is, will Yahoo ever get their act together? Let's hope so, because I personally have an email account. I like my Yahoo email account. You know, most people should have a couple of different accounts, and I tell you why. For those suspicious individuals that are just, they're kind of hinky when you meet them and you think, oh my goodness, is this relationship going to be weird? Are they going to pester me? Are they going to, you know, those kind of people? Well, I think you should have one email address for those kind of people. You know who I'm talking about, right? Kind of brother-in-law material, right? No, sorry, brother-in-laws. But for those people that are wild, far out, wacky, that you just don't want to get too close to, give them a set, an email address that is not one of your main email addresses. That way they don't pester you that much, right? So it says, Leob says, Yahoo is stuck in neutral because of clowns on the board. Pretty strong words, so let's get into the details of this. Daniel Loeb would be criticizing Carol Bartz these days, but the Yahoo board fired her before he disclosed his stake in the internet portal. So now the hedge fund manager is directing his ire toward clowns on Yahoo's board. I guess with the big red nose and the big slippers. After sending a letter to founder Jerry Yang earlier Wednesday, expressing his issues with Chairman Roy Bostock, Loeb took to the podium as an investor conference to make his case for owning Yahoo and expand his criticism on how the company had been run. See Roy Bostock's tarnished legacy at Yahoo. This gets pretty ugly. On the final panel of the CNBC Institutional Investor Delivery Alpha Conference, wow, say that fast 10 times, Loeb said that his sum of the parts evaluation of Yahoo's is conservative at $19. That's a nice premium to Wednesday's $14.45 close, but hardly impressive compared to Microsoft's $31 a share bid for the company a few years ago. Oh boy, I bet they're just kicking themselves now. The problem, he says, is that none of the Silicon Valley players he speaks with will have any interest in working with the clowns on board. Don't hold back. Tell me your real opinion. Tell me your honest opinion. Wow. Next item up for bids is large companies are ganging up on the Goog. They always do that. Oh, well, what did you expect? Friendship? Let's go take a peek. Let's go take a peek, boys and girls. AOL, Yahoo, and Microsoft are said to reach an ad deal. AOL, Microsoft, and Yahoo are three major technology companies that have traditionally competed for digital advertising revenue, have created an unusual partnership in which they will sell ads for one another. Interesting. The plan was discussed at a private meeting in Manhattan on Tuesday night among officials from the three companies and executives from the advertising industry. According to an agency executive who attended but who would speak anonymously because the meeting was private, AOL, Yahoo, and Microsoft declined to comment on the plan. No kidding. The companies hope to entice other online publishers to join their partnership. By joining and selling for one another, they hope to reduce the need for third-party ad networks that sell some of the less desirable ad space on their sites. Interesting. The plan was first reported Wednesday morning at All Things D, the technology website. The report said that the deal was focused on selling remnant inventory, or the lower-priced ads that typically run at the bottom of web pages or the secondary page. You ever get those, at the bottom? Oh, and another thing. Don't be foolish and dumb like I was. You know how you get your smartphone, and then you get a text and says, oh, for this offer, punch this code. So I don't know what I was thinking. Honestly, I must have been dreaming. But I punched the code in, like a 5 or 6 digit code. And then about a week later, I get these questions and answers. And I'm thinking, what is it? Okay, so wonderful facts about, Christopher Columbus and all this kind of jazz. And I'm thinking, where did this come from? And at the bottom, really, really fine print, there's this ad was created by da-da-da-da. And you can get a hold of the company by da-da-da-da. And try to get a hold of this company to stop doing that because they build your phone. Yeah. Do not ever, if somebody sends you a text message, and we're going to talk about that later in the show, if somebody sends you a text message, please do not ever respond to it. Because go to the website and say, is this legitimate? And because once you put in your cell phone, that specific number, you're done, you're hooked, it's done. They will charge you for every single text they sent. Sneaky little, oh, I was just livid. Okay, so let's get out of that one. So we've done large companies, Supercomputers are getting very smart. Take a look at this. Oh, yeah, this is good stuff. You ready? Okay. I'll be ready as soon as the darn thing loads. Supercomputers read the news to successfully forecast world events. So, you ready? Nipping at the heels of yesterday's story about the software that automatically writes news articles comes another what? Automatically writes news articles? Okay. Another technological innovation changing the shape of journalism, software that reads news articles. I'm just getting started in this thing, and now there's a supercomputer that writes. I mean, what do bloggers think about this? Kalev Letaru of the University of Illinois determined that using the Nautilus SGI supercomputer to analyze news stories can help predict major world events. The analysis he used was to experiment was retrospective, feeding the computer millions of articles from which it was able to determine a deteriorating national sentiment towards Libya and Egypt before the revolutions in those countries. The system was also able to narrow down Osama bin Laden's location to within 125 miles before he was found and killed last May. Now, all these conspiracy theorists get to work now. Can you believe that there are still people that don't even believe that the Holocaust happened? It's just like, where's your head? More than 100 million articles were gathered for this study from various sources, including New York Times Archive, Open Source Center, and a BBC monitoring, two organizations that monitor local media output worldwide. So I don't know. I mean, do we trust this kind of stuff? Could a political science person have done a better job or just as good a job as this computer? When I see these reports, I'm thinking, yeah, kind of fuzzy. I don't exactly trust it all that much. Hey, this is exciting. One of our videos, mine, got featured on a popular website. Check it out. So a couple of months ago, I'll bet you 6 months ago, I was cruising the net for research for my two shows then. And I came across a link for the good folks at Citizens for Safe Technology. And I started reading, and I'm an electronics technician, and I know the effects of Wi-Fi. And they put on a really good case, and I really liked what they had to say. So I did a little blurb, and I sent them a note, and I said, hey, I blogged about your company, and I really appreciate it, and I really support what you're doing. And they emailed me back about a couple of days later, and on the headlines of the email it said, you are my hero. I guess it has to do with the thing that I am an electronics technician, and I explained it in terms that people can understand both from a layman's point of view and an electronics technician's point of view. And then a couple months after that, I did a video about it, and I'll be darned if they didn't pick it up and embed my video on their page. So I was really impressed. And there we are. See? I start clicking, and there's the music to the show, and there I am, and it's called Smart Meters. So go check that out, because I thought it was kind of cool. You see, you start talking about stuff, you start doing videos about stuff, and people realize, and they recognize that. Okay, if you're looking for an electric car, and you haven't checked this one out, check it out. Now, I don't know, I was doing research. Did you know that there are 30 electric cars out there? Some are not too good. Oh, time for the pain medication pretty quick. Fisher Karma pushes deliveries back again as it awaits federal emissions certificate. That is such a gorgeous car. It looks like those eager to finally take a Fisher Karma EV home will have to wait a bit longer. Again, this time, although the delay is largely out of the company's hands, and it's simply waiting for the final federal certification on emissions regulations before it delivers the first test vehicle to dealers. Take a breath. According to the company, the first of those are now expected to be delivered by the end of September, although at least some dealers apparently won't be fulfilling orders until the first week of November. Big deal. End of September, first week in November, you can wait. But, oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, my goodness. Just look at that. Wow. I love it. So, if you want an electric car, take a look at that one. Okay, a little do-it-yourself project for you. Play Wii on an Android tablet with an Xbox controller. Why you would want to do this, goodness only knows. But it's there. They got a little video of it. It's kind of cool. Sure, it seems easy enough. Play your Wii games on an Android tablet with an Xbox 360 controller technology, but underneath that simple premise is a complicated reality. First, you need to run the Wii games on the PC using the open source Dolphin emulator. From there, you're going to stream the video to the Android tablet using the Splashtop Remote Desktop HD app on your Android. The YouTuber Obi-Wan tossed an Xbox 360 controller in, but it's unclear if he's controlling the tablet's VNG client with it or the PG directly. We're guessing the latter. So that even confused me. It sounds like familiar to GameStop's planned tablet. GameStop is going to make a tablet. But you know, I have a suspicion. Toshiba's brought out a wonderful tablet, Thrive, and it's a 7-inch. It's exactly the same size as the Amazon Fire. Now, I'll bet the good folks at Toshiba are just like lighting their hand on fire and jumping off buildings, because now they have theirs for, I think it's what, the unbelievable price of $400, right? And now this other one comes in, the Amazon Fire, at $200, and it's just going to absolutely flatten. It's just going to scalp the Thrive, the Toshiba Thrive 7-inch tablet. It's down the toilet. They're going to have to. Well, you know, one good thing about this is it instills competition. And did you know that all these tablets are running Android that I'm mentioning, and that lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, they figure that Amazon's making these tablets at a loss, using them as a loss leader, and that's because they want to get the device in your hands. Because when you're playing with their particular tablet, their ads come up. You're using their cloud storage. You get their Prime movies. I mean, come on, that's just perfect. I mean, how can you think of a better marketing strategy than putting a really inexpensive tablet, but well made? The people that made the Kindle Fire are the exact people that made the Playbook. And hey, the Playbook isn't bad, but it's just a RIM product. So that's why not a lot of people, you know. I know a guy from Sears. he said, we had this big blast off for the Playbook, and nothing happened. So it's kind of dying on the vine. I guarantee it's dying on the vine. Boy, when Digitar got hacked, they got hacked. This was huge news, what, two weeks ago? But this is a securities firm that affects a lot of people. Dutch security firm DigiNotar has filed for voluntary bankruptcy following a series of attacks by a hacker. Well, let's see if it's anonymous. You know, have you heard about these wireless meters, power meters, that BC Hydro is going to put in British Columbia, Canada, and they're going to put them all over North America. Now, they're saying that it's almost impossible to hack them, but I will guarantee you that one smart hacker, if they have got some extra time on their hands, they'll be able to hack the system. And it'll be really interesting to find out, to make their machines run backwards. The attackers penetrated DigiNotar's internal systems and then issued fake certificates so they could impersonate web firms. I tell you, this was really big. I was listening to Security Now, the Leo Laporte show, and the way they did it, and with ease they did it. The certificates are believed to have been used to eavesdrop on Google email accounts of about 300,000 people. The hacker behind the attacks claimed to have penetrated 4 other firms that already have certificates. Blah. No tears. DigiNotar's parent company, Vasco Data Security, said the firm has been put into voluntary bankruptcy. See how fast that can happen with a technology company? A trustee for the business has been appointed who will oversee the winding up of DigiNotar. The scale of the attacks of DigiNotar began to be uncovered on 19th July, when the firm said it had first found evidence of an intrusion. It started to revoke certificates, and an investigation was carried out to find how much damage had been done. Now, if you're a techie and you love this stuff, go to www.twit.tv and go to Security Now. And Steve Gibson, about a week and a half ago, talked specifically about this, and he went into great detail. And to be honest with you, he's such a genius that if you take sleeping pills, throw away sleeping pills. Get every podcast of Steve Gibson, because he can put you to sleep. It's really dry. It's like, oh, you got to be a super, and I'm a technologist, and I get bored with how he, like he's so far out there. Good guy, but a little bit overkill, in my opinion. Anyway, let's continue. Just what Japan needs. Now Mitsubishi gets cyber attacked. You know Mitsubishi? The guys that made, but this is their military stuff. Japan defense firm Mitsubishi Heavy in cyber attack. Japan's top weapons maker has confirmed it was the victim of a cyber attack, reportedly targeting data on missiles, submarines, and nuclear power plants. Good. Not. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries said viruses were found on more than 80 of its servers and computers last month. The government said it was not aware of any leak of sensitive information. Well, I mean, if they did, would they admit it? Come on, give your head a shake. But the Defense Ministry has determined MHI carry out a full investigation. Officials were angered after learning of the breach from local media reports. I'll bet they were. Speaking at a news conference on Tuesday, Japan's defense minister, I'm not even going to pronounce his name, said the cyber attacks had not succeeded in accessing any important information, but MHI would be instructed to undertake a review of their information control systems. What are you doing? It's kind of like Sony. This is the least thing that Japan wants to have on their minds right now because of all the tsunami and, oh my gosh. So take a look at that. Is spam text messaging an issue for you? It will be soon. See, that's what I was talking about earlier in the show. When somebody sends you a text message on your phone, please don't respond to it, because by the time I got to it and stopped the service, it cost me, I think, $25, because every few days they would send me another wonderful little tip that was completely useless to me. But that's how they do it, right? They sucker you in. I have no idea what I was thinking that day. There's been a rise in a number of complaints about spam text messages. The Information Commissioner's Office received 618 complaints about them in April 2010 and April 2011. The number has increased to 1,008 in just the last 5 months, which the ICO says is only the tip of the iceberg. Research from the Direct Marketing Association suggests more than 8 million spam texts offering anything from insurance claims to loans are sent out every day. In my case, it was I forget how they worded it, but they worded it very craftily. And my wife would get these telephone bills, and she'd say, well, why are these text messages doing? And I just don't text. I mean, a couple of months ago I started texting, but I don't text, right? So I thought, well, something's really odd. So I investigated, but it cost me a few bucks before I got out of it. So anyway, if you are bothered by those, take a look at this article. I'm trying to give you stuff that would help you, boys and girls. Okay, you ready? I think GE is on the right track, but they believe in openness, but time will tell. Now, okay, so we've got Apple, right? Walled garden approach, Steve Jobs. I love his products, but I think it's a little bit weird because you are going to get an experience that Steve Jobs wants you to have. And if Steve Jobs sold us cars, we would all be driving Ford Focuses. Every single one would be Ford Focus. We'd have our choice in colors, but you would have one car. So Android comes along, and that's why we got Android phones, my wife and I, and that's why we'll get an Android tablet. It promotes open source and freedom from that walled garden experience. Now, are there challenges with open source? Absolutely. I mean, some of the stuff that's on Android is just crap. So you have to be very careful. You have to educate yourself more than if you're buying an Apple product, because Apple products, you know what you're going to get. Android, you do not. So there you go. GE's Beth Comstock on why openness is good for our business and the world. Well, a breath of fresh air. Many people don't associate big business with social responsibility. Beth Comstock, the Chief Marketing Officer at GE, thinks it's completely backwards. Nice. Comstock believes the key to business success is innovation. Innovation is driven by understanding and responding to the world's needs, she said, quoting GE's founder Thomas Edison at the Social Good Summit Tuesday. We think it's our job to make the world work better, said Comstock. In our minds, that's the meaning of sustainability. None of us can do it alone, and maybe that's surprising to hear from a company as big as ours. Interesting article. So take a look at that and tell me what you think. By the way, if you like the show, just give us an email at unclerickyradio@gmail.com. And our phone number is 778-800-0246. Please, no more Chinese callers. I had a woman that was phoning me a couple of weeks ago, nothing but Chinese. I can't answer you in Chinese. I don't speak Chinese, so I'm sorry. I apologize that I could not answer you. I do not speak Mandarin. I felt so bad because she phoned me 3 times, right? Wow, strange. Okay. Here's a robot that plugs itself in when it's fully charged and unplugs itself when it's ready for more. This is really neat. They're getting smart. Humanoid robot charges up, takes a load off, and they have a video of it. One of the most accomplished and fascinating robots in existence, Aldebaran's NAO, has been traveling throughout Europe showing off its latest technical achievement, the ability to charge itself. The French-built humanoid robot can find its charging station, plug itself in, sit down, chill, and even unplug itself when it's all done. Hey, I like this. As with any robot, increasing levels of autonomy will set it apart from the run-of-the-mill toy and even remote-control robots. The 23-inch NAO can already do many things on its own, using a wide variety of sensors, including 2 cameras, 4 microphones, an accelerometer, and sonars. NAO can stand, sit, recover from a fall, detect small objects and pick them up, avoid obstacles, and reach to touch. Now, with the ability to charge itself on the new NAO energy station, Nest, when it comes its batteries run low, NAO can now live a semi-independent life. Isn't that cool? So I just wonder how long it will be before you and I, the common folks, can buy one of these robots. Just when you thunk QR codes were dead, cooks, you'll be interested in this. Hey, QR codes. I got to tell you about this. There's an app on my phone. I forget the name of it. It's a QR creator or something. So when people come into your home and they say, everybody's got wireless network, right? And they say, well, what's your wireless network name? And you give them, this long string of complicated numbers. And they don't get it right, and they got to enter it in 3 or 4 times. What you can do now is you create this little Android app creates a QR code. You email it to yourself. You print it out, or you can take it from the phone, and you just say, here, take a picture of this QR code, and it automatically gives you, that's right, your Wi-Fi address. So nobody has to ask. And what you can do is you can email it to yourself, the QR code, print it out, put it in a beautiful little frame. Put it on your hallway, and it looks like a QR code, right? So people come and say, what's that? And just say, well, if they've got a smartphone or a device or a tab, just take a picture of that, and boom, there's our Wi-Fi. So when they come over, all they have to do is go click with Google goggles or whatever they want their QR code reader is, and it'll lock it into your specific home Wi-Fi network. I think that's so cool. So, lost track of thought. Okay, grocery shopping app .ziplist has launched new features for discovering and sharing dishes that expand its capabilities as a recipe box. Just had a thought. You open up the recipe box in 5 years. Nothing but QR codes. No writing, just QR codes. This mechanical eyeball that'll read it. Because the 2-year-old startup launched with a focus on shopping lists where people can save ingredients from recipes to their lists and clear them after they've shopped. CEO George Allen thinks Ziplist has an advantage over other recipe search engines. We're in a really unique position because we have had what the people actually do, he says. Do they save it? And do they make it? And if so, how often do they make it? Ziplist is using the information from a personalized recipe search. Search results on the site now take into account a user's saved recipes, groceries on their list, and other factors such as what publications their recipes come from. Now, here's an interesting thing. I was doing some research for one of the shows, and they are now creating QR codes for museums. Okay, so you're an English-speaking person and you go over to Russia, to the huge museum, yeah? And when you go into the museum, you'll see a little QR code next to the exhibit. You take that QR code, you click it to your Android device or your iPhone device. It will give you written in your language whatever that is about, and a little video maybe, and a little picture. It's brilliant. So the museums are just eating this QR code thing up. And I think it's great because where's the interpreter? There's your interpreter right in the form of a QR code. If anybody doesn't know what QR code is, look it up on Google. It's called a quick reference code. It looks like a jumble full of squares, white and black, and it doesn't look like, it's nonsensical to the naked eye. But you take a picture of it with Google goggles or another QR code reader, and it takes you either to a website or does something for you. It's usually almost always connected to the internet, right, for now. So about 1,200 food blogs have downloaded a ZipList plugin that helps format recipes for SEO. And, of course, easy saving to ZipList, another 100 content partners, including Martha Stewart, hey, an investor, and the Food Network, help popularize ZipList's recipe database. Everybody better jump on this. If Martha's doing it, everybody, all the cool kids are doing it. And more than 30 have installed ZipList-powered recipe boxes on their own sites. So, kiddies, boys and girls, I would highly advise that if you do a lot of cooking, if you consider yourself a chef or a chefette, go to this one and take a look. QR codes. Nice. Oh my gosh. This next one. PETA is going to use porn as part of their marketing program. How many ways can you say dumb? A whole bunch, apparently, for PETA. I think they're a little excessive and strange. People for the ethical treatment of animals is planning to launch a pornographic website to promote its animal rights and vegan diet message. Why would you want to do it? What is the deal with that? A move that critics say will backfire and ostracize them from mainstream society. I believe it will. And, you know, you got a good thing going. You're a little extreme now, but you do this, you're a lot extreme. PETA spokeswoman Lindsay Raj said in a telephone interview from Los Angeles on Tuesday that the group has applied with ICM registry to launch the website PETA.xxx. Oh, come on. Raj says the site will feature tantalizing videos and photographs, which will lead viewers into animal rights messages. Why don't they just show naked pictures of animals? I mean, that's okay. Naked zebra, naked monkey, there you go. She noted that Norfolk-based PETA has used porn stars and nudity to get their message across in the past. Yeah, well, that's kind of stupid. Including the annual speech online in which PETA representatives undresses. The video later shares a message about slaughterhouses. If you're going to get your point across, don't undress. Like Red Green says, any male above the age of 40 should never take his shirt off at the beach. All it does is, what was it? What did he say? Confuses the babies and scares the women. I like it. I think the bottom line is that we live in a 24-hour news cycle where over the years we've found our racier actions are kind of fast-track ways to get people to stand up and pay attention about our plight of animals. I disagree. I think that if you've got a classy, elegantly done program, that you don't need to resort to that. Look at Apple. Is Apple in the porn business? No. As a matter of fact, they've done everything they can not to have porn on their site, and they're successful. Come on, Peter, give your head a shake. I'm really disappointed in these people. Netflix and the Discovery Channel are teaming up. Might not be such a bad idea. I love Netflix. As a matter of fact, we've got 2 movies queued that we're going to watch, the wife and I. Netflix tonight over a nice, chilled glass of wine. Okay, Netflix and Discovery Channel strike streaming deal. Not steaming deal like PETA, but streaming deal. At last, some good news for Netflix. The Discovery Channel has linked a deal that expands the amount programming it will stream on Netflix. The 2-year non-exclusive deal will provide Discovery Channel shows like Man vs. Wild, which has been provided already, as well as a new content from Discovery's TLC, Animal Planet, this Investigation Discovery, and Science and the Military Channel, plus other time. Now, see, why doesn't PETA advertise on Animal Planet? You know what I'm saying? The agreement comes after Netflix lost a high-profile distribution deal with Starz earlier this month. Starz plans to pull its content from Netflix on February 28th. Yeah, but see, okay, so here's the deal with Netflix. all the U.S. subscribers are just livid because up in Canada, we only get streaming service for $7.99 a month. So we've had it for, oh my goodness, probably a year, close to a year now. So in the States, they had $7.99 a month, and I don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I think for that price, they got 3 CDs mailed to them a month and streaming, right? So now Netflix divided it in 2, and they chopped off their sending you the DVDs 3 a month because I think it was costing them too much money. But they did it in such a horrific way. They just up and doubled their price. You don't do that to people in the United States, okay? They are a litigious society. They just knee-jerk reaction. They're gonna go away. They're gonna vote with their wallet. Now, watch what Amazon is doing with Prime. I will bet you that within 6 months, Amazon's Prime will have enough movie content and TV content just as much as Netflix. And if Netflix doesn't get their act together, they are going to find themselves in a very, very dark and lonely place. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the show. I enjoyed myself. Did you? Good. Are you finished your coffee or your glass of wine or whatever you're drinking? So this is the first show, October 1st, on the Uncle Ricky Radio Show. So I promise that next shows will be just as exciting and just as entertaining. And I think what I'll do, I'm working on a couple of things, and I'll come back and I'll also ask your opinion. But again, any opinions for the show, I'd appreciate just sending it to unclerickyradio@gmail.com. Our Magic Jack phone number is 778-800-0246. Please, no more Mandarin calls, because I don't know any interpreters. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to close this browser down now and wish you a very, very good day and a happy weekend and a whole bunch of joy your way. All right? This is Rick Haaland for the Uncle Rick Radio Show. We will see